So, again, my name is Randy Schuster, and have a recording on. It's Wednesday the 20th. This is our 320 lab where we go over stuff. And so welcome to those of you who are here. And if you're not, but you're watching this, hi there. All right, so today I'd like to talk a little bit about overall what this class is about. And if you look, I'm going to kind of zoom up here a little bit. It's called three-dimensional graphics and design. Now, normally we add in here, and it's in the SLOs, that we actually build a three-dimensional thing. Well, we don't have the tools or the capability to have everybody do that remotely. So we're really going to focus on the graphics. But we have developed some very nice 3D viewers where you'll be able to see your product or the results of your efforts in 3D in some fashion. So it is 3D graphics and design. Design is a process of taking a concept that somebody's thought of and going through all the details of it so that it's something that can be built. So it's the difference between art and the product. It's how you get between those two places. And you can imagine that 3D is a pretty cool way to do it because that's what we see the world in. So that's what this class is about overall. It's about taking and understanding a concept you have to learn about a little bit, and then doing the work so that somebody else can make it. We're only going to do the first part of design. Design has a bunch of parts to it, and they don't go in order. I'm gonna open up something called the Jamboard and show you what design looks like. So here's how design looks. At the beginning, somebody has an idea and it's all over the place and everybody's talking about it. And as you talk about it, you kind of hone in on it a little bit and then you go, no, that didn't work. And then eventually you have enough details down and enough experience that you focus in on the design that you want. That's the design process, okay? And we're going to be working in this part of the process over here. Okay, Design 320 is how do you take these ideas and visualize them so people can look at them and come back and make them better and look at them and come back and make them better and look at them and come back, and then you go, this is what most people think of as design, which is, okay, it's 4 inches by 2 inches by 3 inches, and I've got a tolerance of 10 thousandths of an inch, and there's a hole here and there's a hole there, and finally I have a thing called a piston pump. Okay, we're back in this area over here. Hi there, Alejandro. Welcome. I'm just talking about design right now, and this is what the design process looks like. Okay, and we're over here. And so some of you might go, well, that's kind of kooky. What's really cool is there are what's called design build processes and agile design that gets this part going with rapid prototyping so that you don't have to take a long time to get to here. You can actually get to here very quickly, make some rapid prototypes, test something out, and it really makes it fast. And we're going to maybe play with some of that a little bit. So that's what this class is about. It's about this design process. Now, how do we do that? We do that with a bunch of different tools, but we always start out with the very first tool that's available to us, which is sketching. And normally we do that by hand. Okay, but we haven't given you all paper and pen and notebooks and sketch pads and phones to be able to transfer it. So if you are able to sketch by hand, you can do our very basic sketching in perspective view by hand. But if you can't, we have some software for you. And that software we're going to use first is SketchUp. But if you would rather, we also have AutoCAD available. And if you have another product available, you're welcome to use it. If you're a Photoshop or Illustrator person and you love it, it's fine. But our demonstration next week, which is sketching, is going to be mostly SketchUp with an option to do AutoCAD. And we're going to talk about perspective lines, and then you're going to trace perspective lines and identify them, and then you're going to do some simple 1-point and 2-point perspective drawings. Okay? And they won't be fancy. It's really just about understanding perspective and how it works. Okay? The next part of the class, weeks 3, 4, and 5, are going to be focused on teaching you the tools. We're going to spend a week teaching you SketchUp in its basic methods, just basic SketchUp. But you're going to make some pretty cool designs. You'll have some really cool stuff by the time you're done in a week. And then we're going to teach you AutoCAD, 3D modeling, and again, you're going to have some pretty cool stuff. And then we're going to teach you Inventor. And I think, or Revit. Sorry, we're going to teach you Revit. And you're going to do some really cool stuff. And you're going to be at the basic level on all of those. And if you already know one of those, you get to sort of sleepwalk through that week. You still have to do the work, but what we think will take a week will probably take you an hour if you already know one of those tools well. Okay? After that, that's week 2, 3, 4, 5. Starting in week 6, you're going to get to do project work. And the project work is going to be pretty wide open because I know that there are many of you, and I saw on the list the cool different things that you guys are interested in. Some of you are interested in landscape and in interior design and in construction and in architecture and in mechanical design. So that's really neat. You will get to do projects that touch on your field. Now, because our student learning outcomes require that you do a little bit of everything, you're gonna have to touch a civil, an architectural, and a mechanical thing in your project work. But I'll set those projects up so they're sort of around what you want to know. As an example, if you're really into landscape design and you're interested in water distribution and you want to do a 3D visualization of what that'll look like, I'll make sure that you have an opportunity to do a little bit of mechanical work on a sprinkler head, model a sprinkler head, or model a controller, or model a tank with an open-close float valve, or something like that. As an example, if you're in interior design, we'll make sure that you have an opportunity to do something mechanical. A door open-close swinger, right? One of those spring-loaded open-close doors things. Or maybe something as simple as a door stop. Or maybe you're going to do some interior design, but you'll do the mechanical stuff that goes underneath the sink so that you've got a reverse osmosis system that you can stick under there. So, regardless of what industry you're most interested in, you'll get a chance to do all these things, but you'll get a chance to focus on the software that you decide you want to work with. And most of the projects are 2 weeks long. 2 weeks long. And you can choose to change software in between, or you can stay with the same software the whole time. Okay. We also will offer you the opportunity to do some work where you can test different fabrication methods to your design. So if you're doing interior design and you've got a cool idea for a chair, there's different ways you can make that chair. You can use a slice function and make it out of slices of material that are spaced or together. You can make it out of a weldment. You can make it out of a casting, or you can make it out of pieces parts that you purchase. So we'll give you that opportunity too. So this is a kind of an all over the place class, and our goal is that you stay interested in what you're doing and work on it. Now, the last thing I'll say is that the hardest part of this class is keeping your design simple enough. It's like, okay, I'm gonna design the Eiffel Tower and I'm gonna do all the bolts and all that. No, you won't. No, that's not what we're looking for. SOS is my mantra. Start out simple. Start out simple. Your visualizations should always start out simple. And so in interior design, you call it a bubble diagram. In architecture, we call it a mass model. In mechanical engineering, we just call it your material usage set. I don't know what you call it in landscape. I know a lot of landscapers, but I don't know what you call that rough out. Maybe they call it a rough out. Who knows? But start out simple. This part of the design is where you're just talking about ideas and concepts, and we do not need details. It might be nice to know if I build it in such a way, it might look like this, and then you go back. If you build it another way, it'll look like this. Start out simple. Okay? So there's my little spiel about what the class is about. Design 320, and I'm going to stop the recording.